January a year ago, almost exactly a year ago. I became Speaker in October 2023, and there were all sorts of big national security concerns and everything going on, and I started requesting a meeting with the President because, I'm kind of old school, I'm a constitutional law guy, but they wouldn't let me meet with him, and his staff kept giving me excuses. This went on for like 8 or 9 weeks. Finally, I just went to the Hill Press Corps and I said, the President is not being allowed to meet with the Speaker. There's a problem. Long story short, they finally relented. They invited me to the White House. I show up and I realize it's actually an ambush because it's not just me and the President. It's also Kamala Harris, Chuck Schumer, Hakeem. So I walked in the Oval and, I know what this is. They're going to hotbox the Speaker on Ukraine funding. That's what it was. The President reaches over just like this and he grabs my arm and he says, the Speaker and I just need a couple minutes together. Would y'all just leave us alone? And I looked up on the faces of some of the staff standing around the wall and they're like, oh, no, he did it. So he called it. He's the Commander-in-Chief. So everybody leaves and he and I are standing awkwardly in the middle of the Oval Office right over the rug by that coffee table. And I said, Mr. President, thanks for the moments. This is very important. I got some big national security things I need to talk to you about. But first, can I ask you a question? I cannot answer this from my constituents in Louisiana. Sir, why did you pause LNG exports? Liquefied natural gas is in great demand by our allies. Why would you do that? Because you understand, we just talked about Ukraine. You understand you're fueling Vladimir Putin's war machine because they got to get their gas from him, And he looks at me stunned with this, and he said, I didn't do that. And I said, Mr. President, yes, you did. It was an executive order 3 weeks ago. And he goes, no, I didn't do that. And he's arguing with me. I said, Mr. President, respectfully, could I go out here and ask your secretary to print it out? We'll read it together. You definitely did that. And he goes, oh, you talk about natural gas. Yes, sir. He said, no, you misunderstand. He said, what I did is I signed this thing we're gonna conduct a study on the effects of LNG. I said, no, you're not, sir. You paused it. I know, I have the export terminals in my state. I talked to those people this morning. This is doing massive damage to our economy, national security. It occurred to me, Barry, he was not lying to me. He genuinely did not know what he had signed. And I walked out of that meeting with fear and loathing because I thought, we're in serious trouble. Who is running the country? I don't know who put the paper in front of him, but he didn't know.
Johnson is getting some criticism right now because of that, because people are saying, well, why didn't you say that more forcefully or vocally or publicly over the last couple of months? But put that aside for a moment. The other thing that he did say in that was that he was trying to get a meeting with Joe Biden for 6 months. When he walked into the room, when he finally got the meeting, when he walked into the room, Kamala Harris and I think it was Chuck Schumer basically blocked him from the president because they knew if he was able to ask the president anything, that was going to happen. So that exactly gets to your point. Who the hell was doing all of this? And actually, is there a legal issue here?